to another edition of Entrepreneurs in Fuego, where we're documenting the journey of entrepreneurs one digital footprint at a time. With me, I have, it's just a remarkable individual, man. I mean, you are an entrepreneur, but you are changing the world as we speak. Eric Luster with Healthcare Technologies. Tell us a little bit more about what you do, man, because I don't want to spoil. I know I'm going to trip over it, and I'm going to say something that probably is going to sell you short. And I want you to tell us what you do.
So what I do is we develop wearable technologies that are centered around individuals. More particularly, we developed a device that detects and reports concussions in real time.
And that is very contemporaneous right now, isn't it? I mean, there's a movie that is coming out right now that talks about, with Will Smith, I believe it's called Concussion. And so it's the timing of this interview with the release of that movie is incredible. Now, what made you search for this technology or for this particular thing?
Well, during my time here in Arizona, I ended up at ASU, and I was doing a PhD in computer science. And I worked at the Center for Cognitive and Ubiquitous Computing around some really sharp guys. And so we were already playing with different wearable technologies. And I saw an application with my son who was playing tackle football. And I started to tinker around and actually started to conduct the research. And we identified that we can actually start to detect and report these concussions in real time.
And that is in real time. And yes. So who is it reported to? Is it reported to the coach on the sidelines? Is there a medical doctor on the sidelines that takes this data and says, let's take this guy out of the game for a little bit?
Yeah, originally there are a lot of avenues that we had to explore. And that's what I'm most proud of being an entrepreneur. We got to really find out and discover what really works. And so with that said, we originally thought, okay, we're going to give this information to the medical personnel, to the doctors. But after additional investigation, we found out that the community, the sports community, is not quite ready. So there's a behavior.
Why is it not ready?
Me as a father, I wasn't ready. I mean, I would go out to my son's practice, and I felt, the way I was brought up and the way we played sports was, you get a hard hit, and
suck it up,
and you keep going. And so I had to look at myself, and that was a really deep point of reflection. As I'm building the technology.
And that is interesting because, okay, so you have created this amazing technology that can take data in real time and identify whether a player is having a concussion or is having a hard hit. And so you got the metrics right there. You as a father, you were saying, all right, I got it. He got hit a little bit hard, but you as a father, you're saying, go back in. So
absolutely,
the behavior, the real behavior, societal behavior is not matching the advance in technology. And that's kind of really interesting.
It really shocked me as I'm developing this technology, and I wanted to speak about my technology, but I had to change. And so that really was the eye-opening moment for me when I started to identify what I was doing in my thought process. I call it the perception, and this perception is what we let other people shape our ideals and the way we look at the world.
So in many ways, it's I'm going to say this a little bit facetiously, but in many ways, it's harder to change people's behaviors and attitudes toward the technology that you've developed vis-a-vis the actual technology.
Yes, absolutely. So what we found out, we started to really investigate here, and we wanted to talk to the players. We wanted to talk to dads, to moms out there. We found out the players did not want the information in real time.
That is interesting.
And the main reason, they did not want to come out of the game. They want the information after the game, when the game's over. So we identified that mothers really they don't care how they get the information, but they need to know right away. And so that's the person with the biggest pain point for this important data.
When you were developing this technology, did you actually think that this behavior or this barrier or this challenge was going to be part of the, shall we say, a little bit of the barrier, if you will, to introduce this technology on a global basis?
No, absolutely not. I thought the technology was so great that everyone would accept it and just buy into it and say, hey, this is the new norm and this is what we should do. But it doesn't work like that. We've done a lot of research, and we've been fortunate to win several grants. We've worked with the National Science Foundation, and we discovered some really eye-opening things. For instance, many of the parents would pay a couple of $100s for additional safety equipment, while at the same time they will pay up to $500 or more for a piece of apparel item. So that's a really, really big statement there. And we had to learn that. And so that's very important as we move forward as a company.
What are you doing to change people's attitudes at this point in order to implement the technology that you've developed?
Through education. That's the big thing here. Education and things like the concussion movie. So I'm not an actor or a movie star.
You're not?
Like
Wait a minute. We got the wrong Eric Luster here interviewing today.
Yeah, but I mean, Will Smith, he can reach millions. So
that provides awareness, and without awareness, it would make it a lot
platform.
easier for you to introduce the technology into the high schools. Is that primarily where you're introducing this technology, or are you introducing it on a college level or in professional level?
Yeah, we really need to raise awareness at every level, but Movement Interactive personally, we're starting at the youth level because we would like to collect data as early as possible, because we capture this data and we track it over an entire career. So as a football player or a basketball player or soccer player moves up through youth leagues, through middle school, through high school, we're capturing that impact data so that we can further analyze and continue to research.
So is this technology, kind of describe it a little bit to me, so is that something that you wear inside the helmet? Where do you wear this technology?
Yeah, so originally we wanted to put the device inside of a helmet.
So how big is the device?
The device is a little bit bigger than a quarter.
Okay.
So very small, and technology has advanced so much that the wearables, they're getting smaller, and you can do really unique things with those. And so we've actually decided and took in a lot of design considerations and put the sensor inside of a headband. Now that has allowed us to service both helmeted sports and non-helmeted sports.
I was going to say, I mean,
Yeah.
there's got to be a distinction between the helmeted sports and the non-helmeted sports,
Yes.
because obviously, you're a soccer player, you're going to running around with, just a helmet, and
Yeah.
I can see that not working there. But so, what is next? What is next for you?
What is next? So my biggest thing, I'm about 3 or 4 months from finishing up my doctor's degree, and so it's been a long journey for me. I really would like the company to get the technology going, and for customers to accept the technology and to start using it, because we can start collecting this data right away, and we definitely want to avoid any players who need to be seen by a physician continuing to play without.
Would you rather see that technology be reported on a real-time basis or after the fact?
Real time, absolutely real time.
It's much better.
Yes.
You can make an immediate decision and probably save a life.
Yes. So the big challenge that we see in sports is usually you're not able to tell if someone is concussed unless they're unconscious or there's a visible hard impact. And so with this technology, we take the guesswork out and we report that in real time.
How
So-
accurate is the technology?
Oh, it's pretty accurate. We use we've developed our own proprietary algorithm, and we take the acceleration data and use our algorithm to actually produce an index.
Nice. So let me ask you this. So do you wake up in the morning and go, okay, I'm just going to think about something else, man? And
Yeah.
does that happen? I mean, does that go through your mind? Because, I mean, you, as an engineer, as a programmer, you think differently than the rest of us. And so I want to get inside your mind and go, all right, how do you see a situation? How do you dissect a problem, and how do you go into it to solve it?
Well, so prior to even starting in the technology realm, I worked in the Army. So my first really professional experience was in the Army. I was a nuclear biological chemical specialist, and I was fortunate. I was stationed in the tactical satellite battalion. And so I got really involved into technology, and I merged the two together and ended up being recruited out of the Army by Northrop Grumman to work on nuclear biological sensors that were eventually put onto a network. So throughout my life, I've continued to build on my experiences and try to connect those two. So the most eye-opening part for me was to end up at Arizona State University in the computer science program with all of my colleagues being hardcore computer scientists. I've always had a colorful imagination and been really eager to investigate a little deeper. And so it was really eye-opening to learn how to conduct research. Because you ask, how do I feel? Some days I wake up.
Yeah.
Well, as an entrepreneur, you go through these days where you wake up and you find out some other company or some other inventor has developed
It's
something
already
similar.
thought of it. You're like,
Yeah, you almost want to put your head down or you want to give up. But what I learned in the computer science program was how to effectively conduct research. See, before, I thought all of these were original ideas. These were my ideas. And when I started to do research, I started to find out that other people had ideas. And so that's what really made me feel like I should contribute to others and build something bigger. And so that's where.
It's amazing, man.
That's
You're
where-
admirable, man.
All right.
You're absolutely admirable, man. And all these things that you're creating, you can see where your technology confluencing with changing attitudes about concussions and about play and about competition and about keeping or being in the game and so forth. It's truly a topic that we could probably spend hours and hours and hours, man. The only thing that I can say is we got a Giants fan here in the crowd, and she's into the football and everything else. And Giants ain't going nowhere. So football concussions and things. Sorry, dude. But with that, we're out.